Welcome! The focus of this lesson is Writer's Workshop in the K-12 classroom. By the end of this lesson, you should be able to describe the philosophy of Writer's Workshop in the K-12 classroom, identify and describe the 4 key components of Writer's Workshop. Before we begin with the workshop approach to writing, let's take a look at traditional writing instruction. This was most likely the way you were taught to write. There is a sequence of instruction. First, the teacher gives a prompt, something like, "Should uniforms be allowed in school?" Next, traditionally, a graphic organizer is completed for the brainstorming process. After that, a first draft. Following a draft, revision and editing take place. Often, revision and editing are quick steps in a traditional writing classroom, probably even taking place over a day or two. Finally, your piece is published. The entire process creates a means to an end approach to writing. That specific piece of writing is the core of teacher instruction and feedback. The philosophy behind Writer's Workshop is different. Writer's Workshop is a method of writing instruction that was developed from early work of Donald Graves, Donald Murray, and other teacher researchers who found that coaching students to write for a variety of audiences and purposes was more effective than traditional writing instruction. The focus of a Writer's Workshop is on the writer. Writer's Workshop is an instructional practice designed to help children become confident and capable writers. During Writer's Workshop, children have time to work independently and with their peers. Students engage in the writing process by selecting topics, drafting, revising, editing, and publishing their original work. Students may move between different phases of the writing process, and it is not a linear sequence of steps. Think about a woodworking shop. The apprentice woodworker needs to know and learn the right tools for each job. He or she must practice, and practice more to become a master at the trade. Growth happens from reflecting on mistakes and getting feedback from other masters of the trade. It is this process that allows the apprentice to transfer skills learned to a new piece of work. Let's apply that analogy to a writer's workshop. Think about that apprentice-master relationship and apply it to our writing classroom using a writer's workshop method of instruction. The teacher is the master writer. Writing is appreciated as a process and not a means to an end. Teacher and student work together alongside one another to select the right tools, and in this case, writing strategies. The student is working to master these strategies and not getting caught up on the individual piece of work. The teacher teaches skills and strategies that are transferable to new pieces of writing. In the writer's workshop, students practice, and practice some more, sometimes trying and retrying various pieces of their writing, such as the introduction or the conclusion. They do this with reflection and feedback from the teacher or a master of the trade. Students practice building specific parts of their writing, of whole pieces of writing, and learn to transfer strategies to new scenarios and new pieces of writing. Now that we're familiar with the philosophy and some best practices in Writer's Workshop, let's dig deeper into the 4 main components of a Writer's Workshop classroom. They are the setup, which should take 2 to 3 minutes, a mini lesson, which should be 8 to 12 minutes, independent writing time, approximately 25 minutes, and the teaching share time, which is approximately 5 to 10 minutes. Here's a nice graphic that shows you 3 of the 4 components of a writer's workshop. You can see that the green, the mini lesson portion, and the share time are approximately the same. The independent writing time in blue takes up a majority of the class period. This is because you want students spending their writing time writing. The first step in the writer's workshop to consider is the setup. You'll want to keep this part of your writer's workshop block brief, about 2 to 3 minutes. You'll want to spend time establishing routines students should follow. Will you expect students to write in a certain part of their journal? Do you want them to add the date each time they write? Should students bring their notebook and a pencil to the meeting space? These are examples of questions you may consider. Also, have a meeting area, such as a rug or part of the room where students will sit together. Quietly move to this area of the room during the setup phase. If time, have a visual status of the class. This could be magnets or clothespins that students move in the meeting area in order to give you an idea of which part of their writing they'll be working on for that class period. The next component of Writer's Workshop is the mini lesson. This should take approximately 8 to 12 minutes. While that may sound like a very short period of time, it's just enough time to get in, teach a strategy, and send students off to write. Your mini lessons come from your state standards and curriculum, but also from what students need and what you notice in their writing. Mini lesson topics should mostly be transferable skills. You're developing writers who think critically and can transfer these skills to any piece of writing, not just that one piece. The mini lesson will most likely include a mentor piece of text. This could be a section of a picture book, something you've written yourself, or a piece of student writing that exemplifies the desired goal of the mini lesson. Be sure to always ask permission before using student writing. After the mini lesson, you send students off to begin writing. This is the independent writing time in a writer's workshop. They should have a designated writing spot in the classroom so they can move quickly and quietly and get started writing right away. During independent writing time, there are roles for the student and roles for the teacher. Students should be completely engaged with their heads down in their writing. They should be writing in their writer's notebook on a self-selected topic. They may possibly be meeting in a small conferencing area with a peer. They could also be meeting with the teacher for a one-on-one conference. Most importantly, the student is writing the entire time. During independent writing time, the teacher should wait for students to transition and get started writing. The teacher should walk around and conference one-on-one with students, helping each student individualize goals for their writing. They should look for strong student examples that demonstrate the mini lesson concept of the day. The final part of Writer's Workshop is the teaching share. First, have a special chair that students sit in for share time. You might even decorate it as a class. During this time, students are encouraged to share their work. It is important for you as the teacher to have a focus for feedback such as content, organization, or style. This is the time to share the student work examples that you found during independent writing time. This could also be whole group peer review time. Have volunteers share while the audience complete some type of feedback to give the author, such as a 3-2-1 or 2 stars and a wish. Some days can be designated as just sharing and enjoying each other's work. This helps to build your writing community. Ultimately, you're using this time to send students off with a few last pieces of feedback and instruction they can apply to their writing.